Hi everyone, I'm Shannon Lefebvre and I'm a data privacy technical lead at Roche, though you may also know me as one of the data transparency leadership team members.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Balai and I'm a CTT anonymization expert and delivery manager with Privacy Analytics, and I'm also a leadership member for the Data Transparency Working Group. We're here today to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been happening with the Data Transparency Working Group as of late. And what I'm going to do is kind of start off a little bit of background on our new Data Transparency series that was launched a bit over a year ago. So this series was created to provide updates to the field of data transparency. We wanted a dedicated event just for data transparency because this field is just evolving so quickly. We wanted to provide updates to everyone in the industry with all levels of expertise, from junior members, novice, beginners into the field, and all the way up to the top experts of the field. We wanted to provide, though, an event or a series of events that were accessible to as many people as possible with as few barriers as possible. Now, COVID really pushed the whole virtual experience for conferences, and we've adapted that for our series. The virtual aspect really provides a way for people to participate in the event, to attend the event, and be able to do so even if they're in a different time zone, if they have challenging calendars and lots of meetings going on, they can still be able to access this content and benefit from it. Due to the huge generosity of sponsors, we've been able to provide this as a free series. So everyone is free to attend with no cost, really breaking down some of the barriers that people experience in this field and other fields as well. The first two events of the series were hugely successful. There were hundreds of attendees at each day, lots of questions, and a really extremely high satisfaction rate, which was fantastic. I actually attended the first event and I was a moderator at the second event. So I got more involved the second time, and it was really great to see all the innovation that's happening in the field, get some updates, learn a bunch of important new information about the field, and also see the great discussion that happened during the Q&A sessions at the end of each day. Recently, we actually had an event in June, and Shannon, you were a big part of this meeting because you actually moderated 2 days. So how was the event? How did things go?
The Data Transparency Summer event was held from June 22nd to the 24th, and we saw over 560 attendees across the 3 days. It was a really great event with presentations hitting a lot of the hot topics in data transparency right now. We had an active Q&A session with lots of valuable discussion and really positive feedback from all who attended. On the first day, we heard about Pfizer's experiences and learnings during the submission of the COVID-19 packages for disclosure to 3 different health authorities. We also had an update on what the Data Lab have been up to in the space of policy audits, reporting performance, and the trials tracker. We also had an introduction to disclosure regulations and trends in the Asia-Pacific region, and we got some helpful tips and recommendations for those working in this disclosure space. On the second day, we had an engaging discussion on the need for harmonization in terms used across the data transparency field, and we also heard about the most recent PHUSE deliverables from the Terminology Harmonization Project. We saw the output of a collaboration between PHUSE and Exogene in a live demo of the Regulatory Intelligence Portal, which allows users to easily access country-specific transparency regulations. We also had a really engaging discussion with a representative from the UK Information Commissioner's Office about the core concepts underpinning anonymization, pseudonymization, and how these principles can be applied to some use cases. On the third and final day, we talked about adversarial modeling and some really intuitive ways of thinking about re-identification attacks and how to understand identifiability in datasets. We also heard how machine learning and artificial intelligence can be used to scale up clinical data document anonymization pipelines and reduce the time required to anonymize large packages. We also learned about data sharing on the Alzheimer's disease workbench, which is breaking down silos within this field of research by providing secure cloud-based access to encourage collaboration. Now, if you missed the event, the recordings and all the slides will be available on the Advanced Hub. The next data transparency event is being planned for March 2022, so we're really looking forward to interacting with all of you again. PHUSE would like to thank all of our sponsors once again for supporting this and all of the data transparency events. Your generosity not only makes it possible to run these as free events, but it also allows PHUSE to support the working group throughout the year. The support from the data transparency community is very much appreciated, and it's really what makes these events such a success. So Sarah, can you tell us more about what else the working group has been up to?
So Shannon, you and I are part of the data transparency leadership team alongside Jean-Marc Ferran, Stephen Bamford, and Lauren White. So the two of us joined relatively recently, but the working group has actually been active since 2014. In that time, the group has published 12 deliverables, and currently we have quite a few projects either on the go, just launched, or soon to launch. What I wanted to do is spend a couple of minutes to go over some of those really exciting projects that we're working on. So Shannon mentioned the terminology harmonization project, which is near and dear to both of our hearts, and that one's been going for a bit over a year, and it's going to be wrapping up soon. We also have the internal data sharing project that sent out a survey earlier this year, and now they're working on drafting a white paper with recommendations for sharing data internally. Recently, the EU CTR implementation project launched, and that's going to be providing guidance on how and what to prepare for this new clinical trials regulation. Also recently launched is the Educate the General Population project. And this is going to aim to help people basically understand data sharing and data privacy in more lay summary terms. And then finally, a project on good data transparency practices. So it's basically looking at defining a set of best practices for data transparency, which provides a means of achieving accountability and traceability, while also providing reasonable assurance that privacy protection or privacy requirements are upheld. Also recently, we put out a call for members to review a new deliverable that's come from the UK's Information Commissioner's Office as part of the Stakeholders Deliverable Review project. So we also have a few projects that we'll be launching soon. We have a project looking at the inadvertent risk of re-identification. We have one that's focused on synthetic data augmentation with a focus on clinical trials. Now, this is actually an extension of our synthetic data project that just recently completed its fifth and final training session in early July. Finally, we also have a project that will be examining considerations to make when sharing rare disease data. Now, all of this work wouldn't happen without all of our team members. Right now, we have over 50 team members working on these projects. We collaborate throughout the year virtually, and it's really to ensure that all this important work gets carried out. So a big thank you to all of our data transparency working group team members. We are actually always looking for new members to join as well. It's always exciting to see new projects start up with new ideas. So we do have a yearly brainstorming session for the next round of projects, but we're always welcoming new ideas from people throughout the year at any time. If you want to find out more information kind of about the data transparency working group and what we're working on, you can go to PHUSE's advanced hub. So that's advanced.phuse.global. Now, one other thing that's a great thing that we like to see happen every year is our breakout sessions at the Computational Science Symposium that's coming up soon. Shannon, could you maybe tell us a little bit more about what to expect at the CSS this year?
We've also been working hard to put together a really great few days of content for the upcoming Computational Science Symposium. It will include a panel discussion with health authorities, including representation from Health Canada and the EMA. We'll also have a showcase of some of the recent PHUSE deliverables, as well as have discussions within breakout rooms to progress some of the ongoing projects that Sarah just talked about.
So we wanted to thank you again for all of the active engagement and participation in all of the working group projects, as well as the events over the years.
And we look forward to seeing you at the breakout sessions at the Computational Science Symposium and our upcoming event in March 2022.